Hey guys, Dr. Tobisch here again with Whitefish Chiropractic. This is going to be our second video on whiplash. In this video, I'm going to be talking specifically about some of the chronic issues that can develop following a whiplash injury. In the first video, I talked a little bit about the muscle imbalance that can start to occur around the cervical spine and the mid-back. And when these muscle imbalance problems set in, it typically predisposes people to utilize poor postural patterns. Things like anterior head carriage, where the head starts to get out in front, forward rolled shoulders, excessive rounding and hunching in the mid-back, and this can turn into all sorts of problems. Things like chronic headaches, TMJ pain, chronic pain, to name a few. And the pattern of dysfunction that we typically see following trauma like a whiplash injury is the muscles that get short and tight and try to do all the work are going to be muscles like the pecs in the front, these muscles that go from the shoulder up to the neck, things like the upper traps and levators, and muscles way up high in the neck at the base of your skull called your suboccipitals. Muscles that typically quit helping us out are muscles like the deep neck flexors deep in the front of the neck, and then muscles between the shoulder blade and the spine, these scapular stabilizing muscles. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about stretching out these overactive, tight muscles, and I'm going to go through some simple exercises that you can do at home to stimulate activity in these underworking muscles, get them to start pulling their weight again so we can balance everything out. For this first part, we're going to be focusing on mobility. Like I said, these muscles from the shoulder up to the neck are oftentimes short and tight, so the stretches from the first video are still a great option. This upper trap stretch and levator stretch are both great, and another one you could add in would be a pec stretch. You could do that in a doorway. Step into the doorway with your elbows on opposite sides, kind of step or lean forward till you start to feel a nice stretch in these muscles in the front of the chest. I'd recommend doing some with your arms at 90, some with the arms higher, and some with the arms lower. Next thing we want to look at is joint mobility. If these muscles are short and tight in the back of the neck, pushing your head forward, that's a great way to start to develop some joint restrictions in the cervical spine and upper thoracic spine. And a good way to start to chip away at that is a chin retraction. So to do that, we'll have you sit up tall. Head's going to move like a drawer, so it stays level, no tipping up, no tipping down. It's just going to retract back. So we're going to have you retract back as far as you can comfortably, then a little push with your fingers and come out of it. I'll do one from the side. So keep the head level, retract back, little push, and come out of it. I'd shoot for at least 10 of those 3 to 4 times a day. This next exercise is going to look a little bit like the first one because we're going to be doing more of these cervical retractions. But the idea on this one is we're trying to strengthen up these muscles deep in the front of the neck. These deep neck flexors actually make retraction happen. These muscles in the back of your neck make extension happen. So if our head's out in front, these muscles have to work nonstop just to hold our head up. We want these guys to quit working so hard. We want these guys to start working a little bit more so our head can go from out in front to floating above our shoulders where we want it. So for this exercise, all you need is a resistance band. And like I said, it's going to be similar to the first one. So take the resistance band around the back of your head, pull your arms out a little bit to create some tension. Then from there, like I said, we're just going to be doing some retractions. So you can start kind of protruded and then retract back, hold for a couple seconds, protrude again, and retract back. For this one, I do sets of 10. You can do those 2 to 3 times per day. This next exercise is going to be similar to the first one because we're going to be doing more of those cervical retractions. But the idea on this is we're trying to strengthen up these muscles deep in the front of the neck. These muscles actually make retraction happen. These muscles in the back of your neck make extension happen. So if your head's out in front, well, these muscles have to work nonstop just to keep your head up. We want these guys to quit working so hard. We want these guys to start helping us out a little bit so we can go from here to here with your head floating above your shoulders where we want it. So for this exercise, all you need is a resistance band. So you're going to go with the resistance band around the back of your head, create a little bit of tension, and then from here, we're just going to be doing those retractions. So you can start kind of protruded, then retract back, hold for a couple seconds, protrude again, and retract back. For that exercise, I'd shoot for doing sets of 10 to 15. You can do that 2 to 3 times per day. The last exercise we're going to look at is going to be a Brugger to strengthen up those muscles between the shoulder blade and the spine. So to get set up, grab your resistance band. You're going to sit up tall, keep the head just floating above the shoulders. Elbows are going to stay close to the body. From here, you're just going to turn your hands out. And as you do that, you want to really squeeze those muscles between the shoulder blade and the spine. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 3 seconds. Come back to the start. Squeeze, 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 hold that for 3 seconds, and come back to the start. On this one, I'd shoot for sets of 10 to 12. You can do that one 2 to 3 times per day.